We are here with TPUSA contributor and host of Human Events Daily, Jack Posobiec, at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Jack, you've had quite the day, including being detained. Tell us more about the events of the day and what's going on over there.
Well, it's really amazing. And they say sometimes you got to do what it takes to get the story. So we've been able to break the story now that apparently the World Economic Forum under Klaus Schwab has its own military, paramilitary police force called the World Economic Forum Police. We found that out, myself and my crew, because we were detained, stopped, and frisked on the side of the road outside of Davos by that very force just this afternoon while we were recording hits for the TPUSA special that's coming up. It's going to be on tpusa.com. It's part of the Great Global Reset. We've got the pamphlet out that Charlie has. We're putting together the documentary series while we're here in Davos. We're also going over to the World Economic Forum in Geneva, just down the road, to explain the health implications of the pandemic treaty and the international health regulations that are going on. So we're out here, we're filming, what can I say? I'm dressed like a reporter guy and I'm standing in front of a camera. So I think everybody knows what we're doing. And so initially, a plainclothes officer had actually come up to us and said, about an hour before all this, and said, "Hey, can I see your guys' press passes and can I check out your IDs?" We said, "Sure, yeah. Here's our passports. Here's our press passes. No big deal." He goes away, says, "No problem. You guys are fine." Continue recording, do a couple more live hits with different national media out there. And then we take a break to basically recharge our equipment, recharge the batteries, get some food. And suddenly 2 minivans full of officers, essentially a quick reaction force, pop up. Everybody storms out. They've got MP5s. One of the guys was flagging me with his MP5. That means in the military, it's like, putting his barrel where he shouldn't be vis-a-vis our direction. And then each of us was taken, myself and the entire crew, one by one, out, sort of behind the building and behind this stack of tables. And we were made to empty our pockets and we were frisked right there in front of the entire attendees of the World Economic Forum.
So we saw some of the footage from your detainment, and I noted those patches that specifically say World Economic Forum Police. I think we might be able to throw them up here on the screen to take a look. But I am just blown away by all of these people who are running their mouth saying the police are this evil entity and that all of that is not fair to the rest of the world, and yet the world's elites can afford to have their own police force. Walk us through that lapse in logic.
Well, so the lapse of logic goes something like this, right? In the United States, at least, I can't speak for Switzerland, the level of crime here. I'm not a Switzerland expert, but I know that in the United States of America, you have a situation where normal law-abiding citizens can get arrested or prosecuted for, we saw during the pandemic, you didn't wear your mask on an airplane and suddenly you were getting thrown off and having to deal with the police. One person even got arrested by the FBI over that. But if you're someone who's out there running over your girlfriend in the city of Minneapolis, they'll let you go so you can go attack a parade in Waukesha. If you're someone who's one of these shooters, we just saw this Antifa guy out west in the United States. He shot at somebody who was driving by. Didn't hit him or kill him, but shot through a crowd at a conservative. He had his charges dropped, or they're given probation, and then they're let out immediately. What we have in the United States, it's a system of what's called anarcho-tyranny. We have anarchy and tyranny at the same time. It's anarchy from the perspective of violent crime, but it's tyranny for the perspective of those who are law-abiding citizens who may be saying or doing something that the regime does not like.
Why do you think the First Amendment is so important in terms of protecting not only freedom of speech, but freedom of assembly? I think both of those things were violated for you today as an American citizen in a foreign country. I could never imagine an American journalist or even a freelance journalist on social media here on American soil being stopped and frisked for just making videos and doing interviews about what's happening right behind them.
Well, it's really amazing. So last week, I was with my wife. We were waiting to go into the Sistine Chapel, the Vatican, and I get a text message that says, "Hey, the Washington Post just put out a piece about you." And I said, "Oh, great! Now, what's next? What did I do now?" Well, it turns out that whole piece, essentially written by everyone's favorite Washington Post political propagandist, Taylor Lorenz, was all about how apparently I was the person that got the ball rolling to dismantle the Disinformation Governance Board, which led to the canning and resignation in disgrace of Nina Yankovic at the Department of Homeland Security. So this was an attempt by the Biden regime to put together a ministry of truth in the United States in complete violation of the First Amendment. So we had a First Amendment issue there where we fought back and we were able to protect the First Amendment. But now we've got a situation here in Switzerland just a few days later, from my perspective, just a few days later, where I'm found in a situation where the First Amendment doesn't exist and freedom of the press does not apply.
Absolutely. Clearly, they're scared, which is why they detained you and frisked you and threatened you in as many ways as they could today. Why are they scared? What conversations are they happening behind the scenes that they may not want the world to know about this week?
Look, what they're doing this week, number one, we know they're in bed with the CCP. The Russians have been kicked out. The Russians are not here, but the CCP is crawling over this event. In fact, right behind me, if you see the bright lights, that's actually where the conference is being held as we speak. There's a promenade up here where various countries have various booths. They're called houses. So there's a Polish house, a Ukraine house, China house, etc. But we also know that the World Economic Forum, what they are doing is they are trying to take the CCP model, the China model, copy it, and apply it to the West. That is the form of authoritarianism that is coming down. That's what this docuseries is all going to be about. And you know what? It's not just in terms of economics. It's also in terms of our press freedoms. It's in terms of our freedom of speech. It's in terms, absolutely, as you just said, of our freedom of assembly. But furthermore, we're also finding out that it's also going to have to do with our health freedom and the idea of us having bodily autonomy, or even being the ones who can call when a pandemic is taking place within the United States. If the US goes forward with a pandemic treaty and the WHO, we might lose that power and have an international governance body be the one that actually usurps the sovereignty of the United States and any other nation that signs on to something like that.
Scary stuff, Jack. We are so grateful for your voice over in Switzerland this week. We can't wait to watch the TPUSA special. Be safe. We will be praying for you and can't wait to show the world what you're working on at the World Economic Forum.
Thanks so much. God bless.